Maybe you noticed that since the pandemic, a growing number of people have raised awareness about the importance of all the environmental risks. Would you like to enter a doctoral program and focus on integrating environmental and economic accounting for monitoring varying ecosystem services? If you are willing to work hard in an international context, I invite you to apply for an excellent pre-doctoral position within an international program which is financed by the EU. My name is Barbara Cavalletti and I am an Associate Professor of Public Economics and Environmental Economics at the University of Genoa. If you succeed in application, you will enter a group of excellent doctoral students at the Economic Department and you will work under my supervision. In your dissertation, you will face the challenge of bridging the gap between environmental and economic evaluation for ecosystem services, and you will focus specifically on valuation technique and non-compensatory indicators to support policy decision-making against climate change. This is the way you will contribute to the aforementioned program, which is called CLOE, Training for Complexity.
Mountain and rural sustainable development and conservation are problems at the center of the debate. The depopulation and abandonment of rural areas with their environmental and social consequences are a priority in the agenda of the national and European governments in the coming years. University of Genova aims at contributing to better respond to the needs of rural areas, and we aim to develop new approaches in terms of land management and territorial justice, promoting locally based and fair and sustainable development. We will do it thanks to the doctoral program CLODE, that is a project co-funded by the European Commission. Through 15 PhD researchers, we will develop new research paths to address rural and mountain sustainable development and conservation from historical, environmental and legal perspectives. We will approach the political and economic marginalization of rural communities and the loss of their rich cultural and natural heritage in their entire complexity, looking at the process of abandonment from an historical perspective.
The COVID emergency, highlighting the risk associated with population concentration in urban centers, is opening up new opportunities for rural areas. This is the time to critically reflect on current and past approaches to rural areas and provide new tools for planning a sustainable future for rural areas, which have to include their environmental and cultural conservation. If you are a young researcher and you want to contribute on it, please come and submit your project for the call for application. You will have the opportunity to develop your research project in a highly interdisciplinary environment, supervised by scholars deeply engaged with the study of rural and mountain areas. Here, you will join teams involved in different European Union projects focused on the marginalization of mountain areas, the living heritage of mountain regions, the conservation of biodiversity and natural heritage, and the possible measures to mitigate climate change and the environmental risks associated with it. Courses, workshops, seminars, and the joint collaborations between supervisors and students will allow building up the competencies and perspectives to reconstruct, recollect, and rethink the links and interconnections between the areas of knowledge around mountains. We will focus on the diversity and recognition of local practices, habits and lifestyles, the social and distributive implications of rural, urban, migration and environmental risks. The training will be complemented with secondments in a network of other organizations, including other academic institutions, industry, NGOs and the public sector.
Your PhD dissertation will allow to scientifically compare different perspectives and procedures, and to support the possible future planning of rural and mountain areas, considering and verifying their social, environmental and cultural effects. Each PhD research will address one of the four closely related topics on which CLOE is focused: mountain and rural areas and heritization processes, mountain and rural conservation, cultural landscape and conflicts, coming back to the mountains and rural areas, mountain and rural areas and environmental risks. Research will focus on Liguria region, a perfect case study area. Liguria was precocious in the depopulation of mountains and in the abandonment of rural activities, as well as in the process of industrialization and deindustrialization. We're waiting for you to work on this project, which will allow to enter from a local perspective in the process of marginalization of rural and mountain areas and to shed new lights for their future planning in an European perspective.